I used to be a Black Friday person, but now I'm done. It's awful. It's just so awful. And it's not even Black Friday anymore because Black Friday, there's like, well, Charlie, given everything that you just said about the importance of Thanksgiving, what do you think about the people who leave Thanksgiving dinner early to go and start shopping?
Well, first of all, I totally, when I grew up, it was actually Black Friday.
Yeah.
Now it's like Black Thursday evening.
Right. And it's not like you start lining up, like the sales actually begin.
It's actually interesting for younger listeners that don't know. After so many people got trampled in the Walmart raids, because people would line up, they keep the stores open.
Right.
They don't close them and reopen them.
Because it used to be the Walmart would close and then
all the deals and the sales would be set, and then people would get trampled so much. I think someone almost died and they got hospitalized, and there were tons of lawsuits.
People did die.
This is the plot of that.
Die.
This is the plot of
people
that.
die? Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, people died. That's terrible.
People got ran over.
That
No, I know they
Thanksgiving.
I didn't know they died. Though.
There's that Thanksgiving horror movie. This is actually the plot where people get killed and then like someone's getting revenge on the people who started the stampede.
So I had no problem with like
it.
you have a really, really good Thanksgiving and then you want to get good deals on stuff. And I think that was fine. It was like a good kickoff to the Christmas season. And it used to be, when I grew up, there was a grittiness to Black Friday. There was like, it took real spirit. So you have to understand, like I grew up in Chicago. It would always be like sub 20 degrees. And if you wanted to get a Black Friday deal, you had to earn it. So you had to like leave with your family at like 10 p.m. after all that turkey's full, and you like stood in line at Target from the open their doors at 12:01.
Yeah.
Right? And you would like shop all night, and you would like get 7-Eleven coffee and get home by like 5 a.m. and you felt like I earned this deal. And it was like a sense of accomplishment.
And
you know what I mean?
And you had to have, there was like a limit to what you could get too.
Of course, and it was very narrow. And,
it was like
and also
one specific
we would go through
thing.
catalogs and go through what was on sale.
Yep.
This was all before internet. I want to throw to Blake in a second. But the internet
ruined it.
There was there was a divide and conquer strategy of what stores are we going to hit? Are we going to go to Best Buy? Are we going to go to Home Depot? Because and you're shopping for other people, and there was like a real like conquest like chess game.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, oh wow, Best Buy opens at 11:30 and Walmart's at midnight.
My strategy would always be like I would find the one store that was like within a 45-minute drive,
Yes.
but in like a non-populated area.
And it was so
that
much
people
fun.
didn't think about, or like a Staples, because nobody thinks that Staples would have stuff, but they do have computers and different hot items. So like what's the thing that people aren't going to think about, and that's where I'm going to go.
And now you just wait for Cyber Monday and click a couple buttons. And so all the adventure of it, and you don't earn it anymore. It used to be you'd get home at 3:30 in the morning, you're like, I got a good deal on a big screen TV. It was a teenage rite of passage in suburban Chicago. Blake, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was really, I can still think of like individual things I went out of my way to get on Black Friday. I think I still have a PlayStation 3 that I got in 2011. I think I can remember the exact deal. It was a PS Slim, $250. It came with Little Big Planet and like some crummy Ratchet and Clank game. Who cares? But like, that was the best deal you could get for, I think, like 2 years after that point. But what ended up killing it was, as you said, you'd go for the timing. It used to be, okay, it was on Black Friday normal hours. Then they would open it at like 6 a.m. in the morning and people would show up before. Then someone got ahead and made it, let's open exactly at midnight. And then what finally killed it, I think, the rise of the internet was a factor. But another thing that killed it was companies decided to get so greedy and they just said, we're doing Black Friday on Thanksgiving, and they would just be open on Thanksgiving with those deals. And I think to America's credit, there was popular backlash to this where they're saying, wait, you're forcing employees to skip Thanksgiving to come in and work on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Though I must hedge, I have to be personally grateful for the fact that that stores are open on Thanksgiving, some of them, because I visited a friend. This is about 10 years ago. I went down to a friend in Tennessee for Thanksgiving, and I took a megabus down. I'm poor. We have to travel by bus. And I took a megabus down, and I had a bag under it, and I had to get off in Chattanooga, which was the final destination was Atlanta. And they get out, and they're like, okay, where's your bag? I'm like, oh, it's under the thing. And they open it, and they feel around. They're like, yeah, we can't find it. We have a schedule to do. We have to go. And they just drove away with my bag with all of my changes of clothes. And I arrived late Wednesday night. So I had to go to a Walmart, which thanks to American capitalism was open on Thanksgiving. And I had to buy an entire set of clothes for the whole weekend.
So I had that perspective. I actually, one of my first jobs was in high school. I took the seasonal job at Target, and my first day, like first real day, was Thanksgiving or Black Friday. So I had to wake up after Thanksgiving when I was like a sophomore in high school at like literally 4 a.m. I had to be at Target at 4:30, help stock everything. This was still in the days that they still open the doors, like Charlie was talking about, before they just like leave it open or open like super early. And there would be like, I get there at like 4 o'clock, and there would be a line wrapped around the building of people waiting to get in. And then we had to stock everything.
So here's a crazy story. So you guys, there's a myth that Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. And you know why that's a myth? Because the real truth is, the real truth is that Thanksgiving is the day before Black Friday. And that is because, let me finish the story. This is because I am not making it up. The current date of Thanksgiving is because of like an evil plot by FDR. No, I'm not making this up. So Lincoln's proclamation of Thanksgiving is on the last Thursday of the month.
Yes.
It is on the last Thursday.
Right.
It is not on the last Thursday. It is currently on the fourth Thursday of the month. That is what the federal law is. So there are sometimes
which
five.
requires a Friday.
So there are sometimes 5 Thursdays in November, and then it would be on the 4th. It used to be on the 5th. And then during the Great Depression, I believe in 1939, FDR got in his head, if there's a longer time between
wanted it to
Thanksgiving
be
and
longer.
Christmas, there will be a longer Christmas shopping season. And so people will shop more, and this will stimulate the economy. And so he intervened, and he moved Thanksgiving to be a week earlier. And this became a partisan political issue. And so for a few years, Republican states said, we're not doing this, and we're refusing to go along with it. So you had a Democrat Thanksgiving on the 4th Thursday, and you had a Republican Thanksgiving on the 5th one. And I think Texas, because they were a Democrat state but had a lot of like conservative Democrats who didn't like FDR, they called a truce, and they said they're both holidays, and they had 2 Thanksgivings. And then sadly Congress submitted, and now it's just on the 4th Thursday, and we lost that culture war battle.
But what you were saying though, there's a deeper, and producer Foz talks about this all the time. His birthday was this week, by the way, shout out. He calls it micro wins, micro W's, and how, so Charlie, you'd appreciate this, is that like in your teenage years, and working retail, used to be part of this too, but in your teenage years, there used to be a variety of things that you would do as a rite of passage that have all been pretty much completely destroyed because of new technology. One of those, of course, was waiting in line like this. Another one of those, having those retail jobs, again, with no phone to like just, constantly be there getting you through it, just monotony going through it. One of the other ones I don't know how I got into this the other day on Twitter, was like, it's not even Thanksgiving related, but it was like when you used to have to call someone's house, and if you wanted to call a girl, you had to call her house, and you had to get through mom or potentially dad. And so it's like the elimination of all those things in society has now created men or adults who don't actually go through any meaningful rite of passage.